My thought is you guys all have it down, so we should just go home, right? Who does that? We are studying the 4 agreements this month, and Don Miguel Ruiz, who's the author of the book, says that we must all become warriors, not with arrows and weapons, warriors in the mind. We must approach the domestication, which is the word that he uses, in a way that makes us the hero, the hero's journey. We've all been domesticated, which simply means we have been fed as young children lies. Lies that you're not good enough, lies that you have to be different than who you are, lies that you have to earn God's love, lies that you have to be a certain way for people to love and like you. These lies, when you were younger, you were not capable of arguing with, so you absorbed them. And so the spiritual work now becomes addressing these false beliefs, facing them head on like David and Goliath, and knowing that the love within you, the spirit within you, is more than powerful enough to dissolve and forever eliminate these lies. And what Don Miguel Ruiz gives us to do this is the 4 agreements. The first agreement was last week. We studied this: be impeccable with your word, which means your thoughts, your words, and your actions, paying attention to them, lining them up over and over and over, not feeling guilty or bad or wrong, realigning, integrity, realigning as much as you have to, focusing on that. We started last Monday. I hope you're joining in. If you're on Facebook, you can see every day we're supporting with new posts. We started the 21-day Unplug from Negativity Challenge. How are you all doing on that? If anyone did not speak the entire week, then you win. Otherwise, this is a becoming. Look, we set the bar high, and we love ourselves to it. We don't beat ourselves up, but we don't lower the bar because we're lazy or because we're not getting there. Spirituality is a high bar, and we love ourselves in the becoming. That's so vitally important. I also told you about a 21-day rampage of appreciation. I said that if you find yourself stuck in negativity, one way to change the thinking is to just go on a rampage of appreciating everything and everyone around you right here in this moment. And you want to give us an example of that? All right, I had to ask. I hope some of you tried that, using your words to appreciate and just speak out loud. The point of it is to do it until your vibration is lifted. This is our work, and this can be silly to the human mind, and I don't recommend doing it while you're out to dinner with family and friends. However, when you're home, I think it's a great time to give that a go. So this week, we study the second agreement: don't take anything personally. Everyone, and here's how it works. Everyone is always commenting and responding from who they are. It is literally impossible for any one of us to not do that. You live in your world, you live in all that you are, and that's the place from which you're responding. That's the place from which you're receiving. That's how it works. Everybody is doing this. Their thoughts are about them. The dislikes that they see in the world are about them. The judgments that they have about you or another is 100% about them. They're literally speaking. Do you want to know someone? Just listen to them speak. Listen to them complain. And you'll know exactly what they believe about themselves. It's not here to make them wrong because we're all doing it, but it's a way to help us begin unplugging from taking it personally. This is the important part. If they don't like something in themselves, especially if it's so deep that they don't even know it's there, please hear that, take a breath. We have parts in us that we don't like that we don't even know it's there. And when does it come alive? It only comes alive when someone else is being it or saying it or feeling a vibrational match to it. And then suddenly, you wake the sleeping giant. It's so unfamiliar, it's so distasteful, you have to just slam it onto someone else's face. Give it to them and make it about them. That's how it works in all directions. That's what others are doing all the time, which is why this second agreement, not take it personally. When someone's yelling or judging or doing what they're doing, the point is to go, that's their world. That's their world. That's their world. And that's how we begin. Again, I wouldn't recommend saying that to them because that might blow up on you. And don't you dare go, well, Reverend Mark said. It's called projection. It's called projection. And this is the game of the ego. This is what the egoic mind that believes itself separate and wants to keep itself separate, this is exactly what it does. When we are projecting, we are attempting to disown our fearful and our distasteful parts. That's what happens. Projection is the survival mechanism of the ego. And it's that which keeps the dream alive. The dream that you're separate, that the projection is what keeps it going. And there's multiple movies happening simultaneously. Projection, is what maintains your feelings of guilt. That's what keeps it in place. Not anybody else, not anything you're doing. It is the ego's game. Projection is what makes you continue to feel guilty. Projection disconnects you. Thank you so much. That frog keeps showing up right around 10:30. Okay. So, projection, I am falling apart. Projection disconnects you from others. Projection blocks your awareness of love. And we all know this saying. Hurt people hurt people. And this is the dance. This is the dance that happens. Someone's feeling an internal, emotional, unhealed wound that has some poison and toxins in it, and someone else has a similar one, and then you end up playing that dance together. Remember that Carpenter song, Can't We Stop Hurting Each Other? Do you remember that one? That's a song for the second agreement. That's what happens. And I know you and me have found yourself in particular relationships where it just feels like you're just throwing knives at each other all the time. And it's like, why does it happen with that one person? I'm very different with other people. Why, when I'm with this person, suddenly everything feels crazy and that ugly part in me starts to come up? That's why spirituality will say that person is your angel. That person is the one, as you grow stronger and stronger, that you want in your life. You want the sandpaper so that you can begin doing the deeper healing work. But we all need relief. I'm not saying 24/7 hang out with those kind of people. We all need the people that also simultaneously mirror our beauty, our joy, our laughter, our ease. That's all being reflected. But the taking it personally is the challenge. And this is exactexactly why it happens. We know intellectually not to take it personally. But because you have unhealed parts, what I mentioned earlier, and here's an example of these unhealed parts. If you have these beliefs hiding inside of you, this is exactly when someone does something that is dumb or bad or slutty or lazy or mean or wrong or anything that hits or circles around. They don't even have to have the exact language. If it circles anywhere around these and they call it out or they say it or they trigger it, that's what happens, and that's exactly why you take it personally. It's not personal. It's not, but this is inside of you like a honing device every day, everywhere you go. And so again, this is the important thing that we must be willing to take a breath and breathe into. To begin growing beyond this idea of what someone else is doing has any impact on me. Now, there's a flip to this. It's really interesting. There's a paradox. Stay with me, grasshopper. We will get there. There's a paradox here. And where there's paradox, there is God. And so one side of the spectrum says, take nothing personally. And yet if you're listening to my words and you're kind of hearing it every once in a while, you're also hearing that everything is personal. Isn't that interesting? And so, and you can find the middle piece from either direction. You could walk through the world and say, everything is my creation. And every person who comes into my life today and everything they say is the movie in my mind. And the only reason they're appearing is because it's my movie. And the only reason anyone is here is because I am attracting them. I am a vibrational match for what is here for me. That is the opposite end of the paradox. Now, the challenge is finding the larger container that holds paradox. And when you hold paradox, they coexist. They coexist. You can own your entire world, know that it is the movie of your mind, and you can simultaneously not take it personally. And I want to go to the deepest level of this, which really is, this is really the deepest truth to be given today. The mind, the egoic mind, is not meant to be taken personally. There is a collective mind that is filled with all of those false beliefs. The egoic mind is consuming everyone, all of humanity is a part of the egoic mind. And the awakening happens when you literally don't even take the thoughts you're thinking personally. When you become declutched from the mind itself. And who did that for us many years ago? The Buddha. The Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree and he meditated over and over to a point to where he became declutched from the mind. And he had a revelation. Something else is thinking, and it's not me. That incessant hamster wheel of thought. I thought that was my mind. I thought I was that. Anyone? I thought I was that. And the revelation that I'm not that insane, cycling mind is amazing. But our current evolution for many of us is, well, I have a moment of revelation, and then I fall back asleep. And I go back into the cycling, and I pull back out. Woo! I thought that was me. Back you go. Back out. Right? That's sort of there's a dance that happens for a while. There are the few that have the moment of disconnect, and it's forever disconnected. Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie. These are a couple, many more great saints and sages and yogis and gurus you'll never know all over the planet that live completely free of the mind. The most amazing, and this is challenging, is when whatever comes out of you, you don't even take personally. Everything you say, don't take personally. Don't take any negative thoughts personally in your head, because that's just like I'm saying, don't do it when another person is doing this. Don't do it when the mind is doing it. If the mind is doing a number on you, why did you do that? Why did you say that? Oh my God, you are such a stupid fool. I could go hide under a rock for 3 days, please. Whatever the mind is saying, if you can be like, even that's not personal. What came out of me is not personal. It is a high, amazing place of freedom. And we get there with baby steps. I'm giving you the high, holy vision of who you are. And now we go back to, okay, so what do I do today? How do I do this today? You begin noticing. You begin realizing how much you actually do take personally. You begin noticing with a boatload of love for yourself how much in a day you take personally, and you will go, holy bejesus, I'm crazy. and that will be true. That will be very true. But then you go next, oh, wait a minute. I'm not crazy, the mind is crazy. The mind is crazy, and that's what's happening. And so you just notice it and notice it and notice it. And then the next step, which is really the amazing part, is when that trigger, what's the next thing it activates? The feeling. And then the bomb goes off inside of you. And you're sitting right in the center of that guilt or that shame or that embarrassment or that rage or whatever it is. You're sitting right in the middle of it, and you go, oh, well, that makes sense. I got triggered by the thought, by the words, and what does that do? When the trigger is pushed, the emotions get activated. That's where I am. Can you love yourself sitting right in the middle of the fallout of a trigger? That's the practice. That's the practice. That's the practice. I get it wrong 100 times a day. I totally do. But my coming back is shorter. And you begin, and this is why unity is so precious and important. We begin to hang out with people around us who are practicing the same game. It's really not a lot of fun if you want to learn how to play tennis if you go to the baseball diamond. It's just not the best place to learn how to play tennis. You get what I'm saying? So if you want to learn a new way of thinking, if you want to take on these agreements, allowing yourself to be in the group, just like Sundays and in the classes and in all the things that we offer, just coming here a little more in your week is going to start lifting you. And the collective consciousness that we share is going to start doing more of the work, or you're at least going to partner with you. And you're not even going to know that there's a silent partner. There's the Holy Spirit silent partner for your Course in Miracles, I know that. And there's a collective silent partner that's here supporting you. But you've got to keep stepping into the field, stepping in the field. This is one of my hugest blessings of my life. 5 prayer partners a week. Every single morning praying with different people, anchoring myself to begin my day. And then another, I don't know how many I could call at any time to ask for prayer. That's humility. And when we're humbled by the power of the egoic mind and we're willing to reach out and ask for support, oh my gosh, the mountains move. The mountains move. So the cycle continues because hurt people get hurt by hurt people. And this is the dance we do. How does the insanity end? How does it end? Not taking it personally. That is exactly how we are invited this week to not take it personally. So we notice our projections. We notice our triggers. And now we practice the opposite. See, you're always either projecting or extending. I want you to get this. Projection is the ego shooting out energy. Extending is the love that you are. So you're always sharing energy. You're a vibrational being, and you're always sharing and extending vibration, or you're projecting vibration. So the movement is to become aware that when you're loving, you're extending. When you're projecting, it's fear happening. No judgment on either. We just become aware. A Course in Miracles says, extension is the opposite of projection. It is similar in form, but altogether different in content, and thus in effect. When we project, we're attempting to disown what is fearful and distressing. When we extend, we are blessing ourselves and others by offering love to them. When someone is gossiping around you, when someone's talking badly about another, or about you, when that thing is happening, if you can find any part of you and just say to it quietly in yourself, extend love. Extend love. I do this. I know exactly what they're doing. They don't need my judgment in this moment. They're trapped in believing someone else is their problem. They're trapped in a story that happened 5 months ago and they just keep repeating it. They just love to go plug in and hit that pain body. Can we find the place to go, I get that, and I choose love. I choose to extend love. Course in Miracles says another way to think of this is to say that projection maintains guilt feelings while extension undoes them. Projection ensures that we will continue to perceive ourselves as separate from God, while extension brings that misperception to an end. So when you're extending love, you cannot be in the projection. You can't honor two masters. You can't honor two masters. The light is on or the light is off. And so when you're focusing your attention on the extension of love, then you are freeing yourself from the game of projection. So that's the first thing, to just become aware. How can I extend love? And here's a suggestion. Start early before the triggers come. If you think you're going to do it at 12 o'clock when you're talking to your sister and she says something that hits your button and you didn't do it for 3 hours before, you're fooling yourself. It's way too late. And that's all right. You're just going the fallout. You go, oh my God, I did it again. Look at me. I could kill her. It's how I know a button's been pushed. Right? So to begin the day, to begin extending love, oh my gosh, you're paving the field. You're paving the runway of your day with where you want to walk. You are so powerful. You are so powerful. Take a breath. You are so powerful. The next thing that we do, you must define the one you would like to be instead of the one you are truly in secret. You must define the one you would like to be instead of the one you truly are in secret. Now, you're not truly that secret self, but you're keeping in hiding how selfish and how mad and how resentful and how lustful and all that. You keep that nice tidied up in a box. And though that's the whole projection trigger game. Another way to get above the projections is decide who you're here to be. Set your aim higher. Vision a higher self. Talk about that higher self. Meditate on that higher self. Practice walking taller as the enlightened being that you are. Move your body. Do the things that will shake you out of the old constructs and physical, mental, and emotional patterns. And aim at a North Star identity that you like and that others would like you to be there too. This, again, is our work. And I'm going to tell you, this afternoon's visioning workshop is the place to do that. That is a definite plug. You must come today at 12:30. To come, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do a visioning workshop for you to set a North Star high idea of yourself and the year that you want to have. That's what's magical about the beginning of each year. That's happening for you today. Don't miss it. Don't give up on yourself. Don't go, oh, that was an hour, time to go. Yeah, an hour, right, that ain't happening. But do more. Today, the invitation. Do more. Call that person. Stay. Do something to place yourself in the higher idea. You're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You're not your actions. You're not the reflection of other people. You are the high, holy expression of the love of God that you are. And you are in back of that the chooser of who you are here to be. So stop living the old patterns. Stop agreeing with them. Choose a higher self and line up, line up, line up, line up, line up. The other way that we do this is the 4 truths. I presented these last week, and this will be the way that we end today also by saying them together. Truth number 1, let us say together, I am created in the image and likeness of God. I am that. That's what you are. Not one silly thought of the ego mind. Not one false idea that you think or someone else thinks. This is who you are, yes? Number 2, I am powerful creator. I have within me all the forces of the universe, which means you yourself can face those patterns and transform those patterns and become the warrior that Don Miguel Ruiz is inviting you to be. Not in this world, the warrior of the mind. And number 3, I am love. Well, that seals the deal. Number 4, behold, I make all things new. These are our 4 truths. And this is what I'm going to invite you this whole month to continue to anchor yourself in. I also want to, again, invite you, if you're not on our Facebook page, we also have a new Facebook group. The difference between a page and a group, if I may. The page is about the business, and we post information up there. The group, the Unity Naples group, is where you can get in conversations, where you can ask questions, where you can read inspiration and share your thought about it. So I want you today, and Patrick will help you. He's back there. Or is Emmy here today? Okay, Emmy can help you too. They'll help you get into the group, and that's where you can keep this alive with each other. And this is where we will post these 4 truths. We'll put those up there so that you can have them, yes? All right, let's move into prayer. Take a nice deep breath. A lot came at you. I'll tell you, you're my reflection. I think you're looking darn good. Open your hands as we move into prayer. Begin connecting with your breath. Begin circling that breath deeper. I'm going to ask our prayer chaplains and ministers to stand. I'd love to stand. Take a moment and look around. These people are here to support you. They've spent last year training, deepening in their prayer practice and their identity of these 4 truths. That's really what it's about. They know who they are over and over and over, and we fall down too, right? But we remember each other and we lift each other up. So I stand on their shoulders as this prayer happens. And in this moment, I allow my voice and my attention and all that I am to rise up and to connect with the kingdom of heaven, the consciousness of the one, the place of freedom and peace beyond all human understanding. And I say, I am that, I am that, I am that, I am that. And as I know I'm that, I know we are that. I know this for both of us, all of us. We are the divine expression of God's magnificent love and light, power and presence. This is who and what we are. And from my place of oneness, I know that the lesson that we have received today from on high and from within is even now recalibrating our mind and our vibration, bringing us back to the remembering of who and what we are, which is the love, the power, the presence, the truth, the freedom of God. And we take a moment to extend forgiveness to everyone and everyone that we have been holding hostage because we've took personally who they're being in the world. We cut those cords. Imagine a big pair of holy scissors coming into your mind and cutting the cords to all those triggers and all those false agreements you've been holding yourself and others in. This is your freedom moment. This is your freedom moment. And this is the prayer that sets you free. Accept it. Accept it. Take a deep breath. Yes.
Have you done your part? Someone's in despair this day. Have you prayed from the heart? So many are trying to find their way, and they need your light, you know, for
A prayer of love. Sing along, lifts them high.
lifts them high.
It heals them,
It heals them,
sustains them, sets them free.
sets them free.
Our prayer of love
Our prayer of love
lifts them high.
lifts them high.
It heals them,
It heals them,
sustains them, and sets them free. Sing it out. Our prayer of love. This prayer lifts them high. It heals them, sustains them, and sets them free.
Our prayer of
Give it up. Give up your stuff.
lifts them high.
Extend that prayer out
Heals them
from your heart right now. Pray for someone else. Give them your love. Give them your love. Don't wait.
lifts them high.
I give my love. I give my love. I give my love. Extend it. Extend your love. Imagine it going around the whole world. You are the one. Use your love. Heal your mind. Heal your body. Heal this world. Our prayer
Lifts them high.
is all high.
It heals them, sustains them,
Sing one more. Sorry.
sets them.
Perfect. And so we bring this prayer to a close with great gratitude. This is done. That vibration that we co-created, that's forever. That's an extension of God's love. And I am grateful. And so it is. Amen. Amen.